Hey guys, Steve with Bass Fishing Electronics here today. We're going to go over the most common issue that we're seeing with the Lowrance Ghost right now, which is caused by this head sensor here. This sensor shows you the angle or tells the Ghost what angle it's at. So if this fails, you would lose your prop spin, you're not able to steer the Ghost, and you're going to get a 5 beep and 3 flash error code. That's only if you're updated to the latest software, so you want to make sure you're on version 1.3, and that's going to be very helpful with troubleshooting here. I want to be very clear on this replacement. So if your motor is still under warranty, we strongly advise you to take this to a service center. If you go in there and do this work while it's under warranty, you're going to void your warranty, which is not something we want to do. But if you're in a situation where you're out of warranty or it's just not feasible to get there, then we're hoping this video is going to help you and get your Ghost back on the water. All right, so we've laid out a few of the tools you're going to need here. You're going to need a T15 Torx, a T10 Torx, a pair of flush cutters, and a couple smaller zip ties. And this will be all the tools you need to get this job done. And now we're going to move over and show you how to do this head sensor replacement. So first of all, we got to take this dust cover off the bottom with our T10. It's just 2 small Torx here. All right, we've got our 2 T10 Torx removed, so we're able to just separate this dust cover at the back here, slide it down, and pull it off. This is going to expose our 16 screws underneath here that hold the top cap on, so now we're going to go ahead and take that T15 Torx and remove all of these. All right, so we've got our top cover removed. We're going to take all these Torx screws out. One thing we need to pay attention to, this screw down here on the bottom, this is a T10, that's a machine screw. It's not going into plastic like the others, so you got to pay attention to that. Set this screw to the side and make sure that it goes back in the same place because we don't want to cross thread anything. All right, so we've got all of our Torx screws removed from the GPS board and the main board. Now this board it's going to be stuck a little bit because there's some adhesive underneath it. So it's not unusual for that to hesitate a little bit. And that's going to expose all these connectors here. You know, one thing I didn't mention before we started any of this, make sure you've disconnected your Ghost from the batteries, because we don't want any power here at all, because obviously we can short something out. These connectors can be very fragile, so we're going to, you know, release all these connectors carefully. We're not going to pull on the wire, we're going to pull on the connector, and you'll see the little releases on all these, and they'll easily come out. Just make sure we're not pulling on the wire itself. And then you've got another one underneath here. Disconnect that. We're going to take this circuit board, set it to the side here, right inside that silicone cover. So now we've exposed everything underneath here. There's a couple more things we're going to have to take apart. We're going to have to take these 3 Torx out right here that are holding this on. So we're going to go ahead and remove this. All right, so we've got the 3 screws out that secure this. This piece is going to come out right here. We're going to set that to the side, and then we're going to move on to taking this clear cap out right here. So this clear cap has 2, 4, 6, 8 screws holding it in. So we're going to go ahead and remove all of those. All right, so we've got our 8 screws removed here. One thing we're going to note, we've got 2 zip ties in here that are secured to the clear cover, so we're going to go ahead and cut those. Be super careful, we don't want to cut the wires in here. Remove these 2 zip ties. That's going to free our wires up here. We've got a connector right here. We're just going to disconnect that. Get these wires up here, your power wires here, we're just going to pull up here. We don't need to disconnect these power wires. We can actually make this work without removing those. So go ahead and you kind of have to shimmy this clear cover up here, because if we notice down here, this actually sits in this pulley, so it can be a little tight to come out. We take that, note all of our wires here. We don't want to pinch anything, cut anything, and we're just going to twist this at a 90-degree angle here. Now we can start to see this head sensor that we're trying to get at here below the indicator pulley. So this indicator pulley, just simply, we grab onto it here, pull it out. There's a belt. The belt's just going to stay in there. And now we can completely see the head sensor here. So if you look down in here, you get a screw here. You've got a screw here. We're going to remove those two screws, and then we can take our head sensor out. Okay, we've got those two screws out. So now we're just going to note the head sensor. If you notice, it's narrower back here, wider here. So just note that when you're putting the new one in. This head sensor comes completely out. We grab our new head sensor here and just reverse this whole procedure. So we're going to go ahead and install this head sensor, and then we're going to get to the next step here where we put the indicator pulley in. All right, so we've got our new head sensor installed here. This step is very critical now. So if you look inside here, we rotate the shaft here. So you can rotate the shaft by hand at this point. You're going to see an arrow on this large white pulley right here. This is called the slip gear. And then you also have another arrow right here on the indicator pulley. If you don't line these two arrows up perfectly, your arrow on the top cap is going to be off consistently, and it's going to drive you crazy. So make sure when you put this back in here that these two arrows are perfectly aligned. So we get this on here. Make sure that the belt is on the slip gear assembly, and we're going to have to play around with it until we get it perfect. You know, might have to adjust a tooth or so. But now if you look in there, your two arrows are perfectly lined up. And that has to happen, or you're going to have problems. So now we're going to go ahead and just reverse the whole procedure. We're going to put this clear cap back on. So we're going to rotate this around. And again, I can't stress enough, guys, you got to be careful and pay attention to your wires here, because you will pinch these wires, especially these little black and red ones right here, and your head sensor. Make sure that's all above the clear cover, and then these two wires over here have a small notch that they go in. So just pay attention to that, because if you cut one of those, we're going to be in trouble. So this clear cover, like I said, it sits in this gear right here, so you're going to feel that press down in. Once that's pressed in, we can go ahead, put our 8 screws back in. This wire clips into this little holster right here. That snaps in, get our 8 screws in. We're going to put our zip ties back here, and then we're going to put our circuit board back on with all the connectors, top cap, and dust cover, and we're good to go. At that point, we can go ahead, we can test this ghost trolling motor. Make sure we're not getting any beeping and flashing. We're going to go ahead and go through the 5-step reset procedure and recalibrate everything. We're going to attach that here in this video, and you should be good to go. I hope this video helps you. Remember to give us a like and subscribe, and check out bassfishingelectronics.com.